Hey there, friends. Hi. I just had to share with you today. I had a great group of kids. I get the fantastic opportunity to teach some kids each Sunday. And uh, pardon me as I'm talking with you. A lot of times I get my own distractions going because right outside me is my window, and it's a really beautiful day out there. So, but anyway, it was a great day at church, and they were. I just wanted to share with you. Um, sometimes, well, most of the time in this world, we hear a lot of negatives all around us. And I hear a lot of people are like, oh, there's no hope. And they might talk about the rising generation and what are kids turning into these days. And you hear a lot of negative. And so I thought by sharing this with you, not only would you get some great ideas, because there's some awesome ideas from these children, from these kids, but also see and give you hope for the future, because these aren't just any kids. These are fantastic, awesome leaders of the future. And so what we talked about today, first of all, was a story in the Bible about Jesus. And this is in the New Testament. So it dealt with the lepers. And you've probably heard the story about the 10 lepers who saw Jesus from afar and hollered to him, hey, have mercy on us, save us. And he told them exactly what to do. They needed to go show themselves to the priest and they would be cleansed. And they were. And of course, one out of the 10 came and fell on his face and praised Jesus and thanked him with gratitude, filling his whole soul and being. And of course, Jesus said, hey, wait a minute, weren't there like 10 of you guys? Of course, he didn't say it like that, but I'm absolutely paraphrasing, right? Weren't there like 10 of you guys? Where's the other 9? And they weren't there. And this one who was a Samaritan, he makes a point to make sure that we know that he was a Samaritan that came back and thanked Jesus. And if you understand at all about that time, the people in Samaria, the Jews just hated. They really, they would walk way around Samaria to get to Galilee, even because they would just hate him that much. So I like that he makes sure to let you know that Samaritans are God's children too. Anyway, so and he tells the Samaritan man who's come and thanked him that he is made whole. He's not just cleansed, but he is made whole. And I love that. So we started talking, me and the children or the kids, about gratitude and how amazing gratitude is and what it can do for us. And I put the word gratitude on the board and we talked about, I just started asking, let's just go down each letter, because I like to do this, each letter of the word, and let's talk about things we can be grateful for. Just the first thing that comes to your mind, tell me what you think is just the best thing and the thing that you can be grateful for. So, of course, it's Gratitude. If you don't spell it. I actually brought these here so I could read them so I wouldn't get it off. But the first thing, I'm thinking in my mind, throwing out ideas, grass, because I actually love grounding and walking barefoot in the grass. And if you haven't done that, it's just a wonderful feeling, especially early in the morning. And anyway, so, but the kids said, God is something to be grateful for. And isn't he the one that gave us everything? And they are very right. And it is so true. God is great. And we can be very grateful for him. The R is resurrection. And what was really amazing to me is these kids who just barely, haven't been very long baptized, said resurrection, meaning that we will all be resurrected. Every single person on the globe is going to be resurrected. And I thought that was fascinating, how much knowledge that they had about the gospel. The A, we were talking about A because that was kind of a harder one to come up with. I always think of food. Of course, first thing that comes to my mind is apple, and I think that has to go back to our education. You learn the ABCs and A is for apple. I think that was it. But no, they came up with ants, like, their family members. The boys may have been thinking ants like the bugs, but no, that didn't come up. They didn't say anything. But they're talking about ants or adults that they were grateful for, like teachers and parents and grandparents and people that they had as coaches even already at this young age. Did I tell you that these are just 10-year-olds? They're just phenomenal. The next one was T, and they said testimony. Some other things were thrown out there, but of course I wrote that up there, and I'm just amazed. But I was what really caught my attention. I one of the young men said, independence. And I said, well, tell me more about that. And he reflected on the fact that we live in America where we're free. We have the freedom to make a choice. We can read a book. We can listen to music. We have the independence to go to school, to get an education, to communicate with other people. And this is my favorite, to ask why. It's okay to ask why. It's probably one of the better questions that you can ask. Anyway, so then we moved on to the next one. And T, I have to tell you the truth. In T, I could not come up, I didn't write down right off the chalkboard what I had written. And as I was sitting here, I was trying to think of what the other T was. And I'll have to ask them next week because I seriously just goofed. But I know that our gifts or our talents are incredibly individualized and that each of us has a talent or more. We have actually several talents that we came here with. They are something that we are gifted with, that we have a talent for, that we can share with others. And as we share it, it will grow and expand and become perfect and better. Better and perfect. But if we don't share it, then we're losing. So those are something, talents we can be totally grateful for and appreciate. The U, here's another one that the kids said was unity. And I'm like, wow, really? And they're like, yeah, being unified when we're all on the same page. And I thought, wow, that is so cool, because isn't it far better to be unified than to be right? And there was a couple that spoke about marriage. They're very young, they haven't been married very long. And that was their comment too, was that in a relationship, it is far better to think of the other person and to become unified, become a team, rather than to be thinking about who's right, trying to be right. So I love that, unity. D, now this one, they were joking, I thought, but no, they kept saying they were serious. Death. And I'm like, why would you be grateful for death? And this, my friend, is a key one for today, because I had never thought of this perspective. This goes out to those of you who maybe even have a fear of death, because it is one of the big fears. But these kids were excited because to them, they have committed themselves to thinking, or they have the perspective that death is like a graduation, or that death opens a door. But the better thing that they kept saying was, death means we get to be with God again. And death means we get to be with other family members forever. And family is forever. And I think that's awesome. So death was, they said, no, you got to put it up there, death, and they're making faces and shouting death. And I'm like, I don't know if that's good. But to them, it wasn't a taking life, or that they were glad that anybody died. That wasn't the point. But that death is like a victory in their book. And that it means we get to be with God again. And I think that's great. I think we can take some of that in. And then for the final E of gratitude, it was eternal life. And my friend, that was pretty cool too, because these kids understood that we will all be resurrected, and we'll all gain a resurrected body. But we all will not receive eternal life. Immortality, yes, we'll all get to live forever. But eternal life, as the kids told me, meant life with God. And that's pretty exciting that they recognize that. So there's some things I hope you can think about today, be grateful for, maybe ponder on your talents and how you can share those so that they can grow and expand. And as you're grateful and you show gratitude to others and to your source or creator, I know that you will have more happiness, you'll have more peace, and more abiding joy within you than you ever thought possible. So, and I wish that for you. So go out there and just make it a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.